All right, everybody. Welcome to season 2 of the Assistant Desk podcast. Season 1, I think, was a great success.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
A lot of cool assistants, some different sports, a lot of knowledge dropped. Season 2, if you've been following along on social media.
Oh, all right, sweet.
All right, cool. Season 2, yeah, if you've been following along on social media, it's about head coaches, right? Where we've got 5 interviews that we're doing, and we're trying to get the head coach's perspective on assistants, what they look for and things like that. We'll dive into it. But first off, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you're, you know, going through and clicking all those things that help us out. We want to promote this and get it in front of as many people as we can. Without further ado, George is going to lead us off.
All right, everybody. Yeah, we're here, season 2, episode 1, with Coach Richard Carrington, head coach at Haverford College. We're excited here to get you on the podcast, Coach. How we doing?
Doing well. No, thanks for having me, guys, and sorry for the technical difficulties, but
We're
again,
good. We're here.
how it goes.
We made it. We do have a different setup here than last time, though. I need to point that out.
We invested in some comfy chairs. I was tired of sitting in an office desk chair.
Looks good. Looks professional.
Yeah, that's it. Fake it till you make it, but I think we're on the way.
Listen, Facebook Marketplace is a hell of a place. This lady was throwing away this beautiful fake leather thing, and I was like, no, she's coming on. Here she is.
There we go. Awesome.
One man's trash, right?
Yeah.
That's it. That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. But yeah, so wanted to start off by kind of giving you the floor, the opportunity to introduce yourself, right? Like, we obviously know you. I'm sure there's a lot of listeners out there that know you, seen you, definitely heard you on the sidelines at those showcases because I love the energy.
I love that.
But yeah, I want to kind of give you the floor and let you introduce yourself and how you got to where you are, and then we'll dive into some questions.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, so Richard Carrington, I think I'm entering now year 21 or 22 of coaching. And started off as first of all, I was a player at the Division II level down in Mars Hill. Was college then, now it's a university. Played all 4 years there. Absolutely loved the small school experience, and back then, D2 was even more of a kind of like the Wild West. So
yeah,
it's gritty.
Yeah, absolutely. But after graduating there, really kind of fell into coaching. Went back and was doing some substitute teaching at my old high school, and got roped into helping out, and been coaching ever since. So I've coached at Kenyon College out in Ohio. Went back and served as a high school head coach in Virginia Beach at Cape Henry Collegiate. Then went back to my alma mater, Mars Hill, to be an assistant coach with Sean Woods, who's currently the head coach at Amherst. And from there, got my first college head coaching job at Chestnut Hill College in Philadelphia. We actually started the program there from scratch. And from there, went to Alvernia University, and then to VMI as an assistant coach under Brian Ankin, and then got a head coaching job at Tusculum University in Greenville, North Carolina. Started that program from scratch as well, and was there for 9 years. Stopped bouncing around for a little bit, and absolutely loved it. Had a great experience, but towards the end there, like, we started to kind of go different ways in terms of what we were looking for and what we were trying to do as far as like the student experience would go. So
Right.
Did some researching and a little bit of exploring, and identified a handful of schools where we would like to land, and luckily one of my best friends, and certainly one of my most influential mentors, and Sean Woods, lands a head coaching job at Amherst. So he was brave enough to take me on for a second stint, and had a great
He wanted
experience.
round 2.
I'm sorry, say it again.
He wanted round 2 with you.
Hey, I think I lost you there.
Oh, you got me?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, round 2. For sure. Yeah, I got you. You're back. Yeah. So yeah, so round two with Coach Woods, and and then landed this spot here at Haverford, which was on our short list, and I'm glad it worked out. Because again, my wife and family just had to sacrifice a lot for us
Right.
to get here. So the fact that it worked out is a little bit of a miracle.
Well, I think it's safe to say you've, out of everybody we've talked to, have had the most interesting and most stops in like different levels, different places, all over the map. Um, and excited that you're where you're at now and kind of can really start growing those roots. I'm sure your family's definitely excited because, as we always joke about, uh, it's our significant others and the little kids and everybody that kind of take the brunt
Oh yeah.
of this job. And with all the moving, just the weekend's gone, and there is no such thing as summer, things like that. But yeah, well, that nice little roadmap you have.
And Haverford's a beautiful place too. We've been down there, and
Yeah.
the campus is really nice. Definitely a nice little spot to get to, and a lot of things to see up there. So that's awesome.
What's your favorite part about where you're at right now?
Not to sound generic, but it's the people, right? Like it's
Right.
it's
Sure,
always
sure,
it's always people. But this is my second stint in Philly, so like I came back knowing the area fairly well, and I just love living around here. And even though like I'm not like this is gonna come back at me some way, but like I'm not a Birds fan, I'm a Ravens guy.
that's all right. Hey,
But
listen, that's okay.
You're in enemy territory. I love it.
Yeah, I love
yeah,
it though. Keep
Behind the
saying
lines. It's okay.
it.
It's
But,
okay.
no, it's a great place to be, great place, to go to concerts, to, see, check out, major sporting events.
Sure.
World Cup was just here, so
Right.
yeah, you really could not complain about the area. Very, very easy place to recruit to, and a fabulous place to live.
And great
I mean,
academics.
great academics.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
no
That's
question.
good.
I'd say. Right. So you kind of hit the trifecta. You got good lacrosse, you got a good area, you got good academics, right? So like you said, it's pretty easy to recruit there. I'm sure there's guys lining up as we're kind of closing out the
Yes,
summer
sir.
recruiting, right? That book and that portal is probably full, which is good. George, you can jump into
Yeah.
a question here.
So, coach, you've started programs from scratch, right? And then you've also gone to programs that already had that were already existing. So, in your opinion, what's harder from like an overall standpoint? Starting one from zero, or jumping into one that needed kind of like a rebuild? And then from an assistant standpoint too, like, is it easier to start from zero and find a guy to help you out, or an assistant coach, or is it easier to find one that was at the school and kind of knew his way around or her way around?
Yeah, well, I've actually never had the opportunity of coming into a position and having a pre-existing assistant coach. So
Gotcha.
anybody that I've ever been able to work with, I've actually hired, once I was in the position. So
Okay.
that's a situation I don't know. That'd be interesting to see how that would work, but I'm not trying to find any time soon. Like
No,
we're
no, right.
Yeah.
um,
Keep
but
everybody where they at.
absolutely, but yeah, I think like the question about like whether it's easier to start a pro from scratch or to come into one that needs a little bit of a rebuild. I think that's one that I spend a lot of time thinking about.
Right.
I know they're just the challenges are different, right? And
Sure.
that like when you're starting one from scratch, yeah, it's great because it's your culture, right? But at the
Right.
same time, there's also a huge leadership void, and I think with any team, regardless of sport, anytime that the coach has got to be the biggest voice in terms of leadership and have the most influence there, it's not the best recipe for a winning team. Like it really needs to be player driven,
Sure.
and that just isn't always the case when you talk about starting the program from scratch. Because there's just no hierarchy, and everybody's trying to figure it out.
Right. Right.
Um, Whereas, I think that when you come into a pre-existing program, yeah, like there's some leadership already in place, and the leadership may need to be kind of reconfigured a little bit, but like there's already some people there in place. But at the same time, you're also trying to like bring in your own elements and trying to address some things that maybe didn't go so well in
Mhm.
previous years. And I don't know, different challenges, but I think that across the board, whether you're talking about starting from scratch, whether you're talking about coming in and kind of rebuilding, you have to start with the guys that you have, right?
Right.
So
Sure.
if there are new recruits coming in, what do you want this program to be? What do you want to get out of it? What's important to you? If it's the existing guys, guys, it's okay, well, what's worked well, what has not worked, what would you like to see improved? But you got to start with talking to the players, and then you figure out a game plan from there.
That's
Love it.
perfect. When you're assembling your team, right? Because to George's question, about is it you've never had someone stay on staff at a stop that you've been, right, and that you've taken over. So, right, it's an assistant show, and I want to kind of jump right in and ask you, what do you look for? Because you're talking about the recruits, you're talking about the current players, right? But you need support as well. So, what are you looking for when you're hiring your assistants?
Yeah, and that's something that I've actually over the last few months I've been thinking a lot about because you know, I guess typically you would look for certain areas, right? Like maybe a certain side of the ball, somebody that's maybe like pretty experienced in recruiting, and just areas that are pretty typical for an assistant to have to cover.
Right.
But I've kind of like retooled the way I'm thinking about it, and I've actually kind of like turned the mirror the other direction, right? And said, okay, well, what are my shortcomings? What gaps need to be filled based off of my skill set? And let me go out and try to find somebody that can kind of supplement the things that I'm just not good at, right?
Wow.
So obviously technology is one of them, right? So we need somebody that can works on these devices, So that's a big one. But yeah, I think that like the older I get, the less interesting I get to the young people. So yeah, they don't want to talk about like the cool documentary I watched last night on Pompeii. They got no time.
Right.
So and neither does my wife, by the way. So that's a problem.
Well,
But
I'll listen to you.
I'll listen
I
to it
got you.
too. We've got
Call
that.
me anytime.
all right, there we go. There's somebody, but yeah, I think it's I need somebody, or I look for people that do a great job of relating to to today's student athlete, and maybe somebody that they feel like a little more comfortable coming to,
Right.
with certain things, because yeah, I'm here, my door is open, but at the same time, like it just I'm not too far removed from being a player that I know that there is a little bit of
Right.
a different relationship when you talk about your relationship with your head coach as opposed to a younger assistant. So,
Mhm.
so we lean into that for sure. And I think there's some other some areas where that I like to make sure that we're supplemented, but at that same time, it's also important to make sure that you align with your assistant coach in terms of just values and overall approach. And yet we just hired Cole Kirst to come on as assistant coach for us here at Haverford, and we're excited about that. And I think one of the things that really jumped off the page to us about Cole, other than obviously the playing accolades,
Mhm.
is his energy. Like the guy is just like he's. I mean, you guys think I'm loud on the sideline. This guy makes me look like a church mouse. Like it's unbelievable how much juice this guy has. So, I think that's, well, it may terrify our players, or it's gonna kick them into high gear, one way or the other, but,
And
we're
we will
excited
find
about
out
it.
soon, right?
That's right, that's right.
That's awesome. And when you got to go from like you're just like Cole, like what's one thing you do personally, to kind of build that culture of coaches, right, in that office and that trust. And like you said, the door's open and you want someone that may pick up your shortcomings and things like that. But like Cole walks into the office day one, like how are you guys going to build that culture? Because in my opinion, if the guys on the team see, the coaching staff super tight, they're always, hanging out or whether it's at work or away from work and that you just have that really good culture and that tight knit group right there, that flows down. Um, but how do you kind of approach that?
Yeah, 100%. To me, it starts with like two C's. Like it's clarity and it's care.
Mm,
So yeah, when we
I
talk
like
about like
that.
yeah, that's the clarity is big to me. It's I don't like a lot of confusion,
Mm,
And I think that as much as we can actually publish, like put down on paper so that you can see these are our processes. This is our protocol for, for whatever. It's going to alleviate a lot of question marks. And that's not to limit autonomy. I think people have got to be able to solve problems the way they want to solve problems. But at the end of the day, we have a desired outcome, and we have to be on the same page about how that out or
Right.
what that outcome looks like, and then when we want that outcome achieved. So I'm big on the onboarding process. Coach Kirst is
Yep.
just starting that with us. So yeah, we have a ton of tutorials, a ton of documents that are resources for him to kind of like go about understanding some of our best practices. And then he obviously will have the ability just to kind of make the role his own. And if we need to adapt some of our processes, we'll do that. And then when we talk about the care piece, like any coach I think that's coming in and certainly working with me, but I'd say this is probably true for most places. We understand that, like, this is kind of a temporary deal. You're not going to be an assistant coach here for 10 years. If you are, then like I don't know, we're paying you too well, or I don't know what's going on. So we get it, right? And I think it is the job of the head coach to be continuously kind of preparing that assistant coach for the next job, right? So
Right.
whether that
Right.
be through making sure that we're watching film together, not having anything to do with, like, scouting responsibilities, but just watching film to just grow together,
Hmm.
just chopping it up. Obviously, like, reviewing the resume, reviewing the portfolio, anything that we can do just to kind of like continuously advance that assistant coach. So when the opportunity does arise, that person is ready. And I don't know, I'm fortunate enough to have a handful of guys who are head coaches right now at the collegiate and high school levels, that I've had the opportunity to work with. But I think showing that care really builds the trust between the people on the coaching staff.
That's awesome.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, that's a big job right there itself, right? Just not only just being the head coach, X's and O's wise, but
Getting guys ready for that next job, right? Like, I mean, like you said, right? Everybody's goal as an assistant is more than likely be a head coach one day, and it's great to hear that there's head coaches like yourself. I know we work for them right now too, that want to help us grow to that next level and have the ability to take our careers to where we want them to go. And then that's great to hear that there's other people out there that want to do that and help guys grow like that. Yeah, that's very makes me happy. I don't know. I guess fires me up. So what's one thing that you've learned in your stops as head coach, from great assistants that have changed how you might lead as a head coach? Um, you know, whatever they may be. Hey, he carries his book like this. Something cool I picked up doing that, or is it like a philosophy thing maybe?
Yeah, I think just the ability to just be very blunt, right? And I always work well with assistant coaches that don't pull any punches, because I think that all of us as coaches, like, we have blind spots, and every
Sure.
once in a while we need to kick in the butt.
Yeah.
And I know for me personally, like, you've seen it, like, I get going, man, and in games, like, I kind of get locked in on what I'm doing. I'm the juice level at 11, so like I just sometimes I need somebody just to say, "Hey, coach, like, bring it down a notch," and in that moment, that's not like, okay, well, oh my God, this guy's talking back to the head coach. It's, let's
right,
have a little bit of humility and trust the fact that, yeah, if he's telling me I need to bring it down, I need to bring it down. But
right.
I think somebody who has the ability and the courage, just be brutally honest at all times, like, that goes a long way with me for sure. And I know it's helped me in my career.
That's awesome.
Well, I feel like that's where you get that culture piece, and that's where you guys have gelled as a staff. Like, if you can start talking about the hard things, or like you said, have the courage to be like, hey, like, I think you have to do this, or we should try this, or whether it's a drill, whether it's a, adjusting practice or something like that. If you can, start to do that yourself as an assistant, it just helps build those big boy characteristics that then become a head coach, right? I think that when you're talking to a lot of young guys, and you just went through a whole hiring process, I feel like you can now doing it a few times, you can weed through the yes man and the guy that's going to be there that's going to tell you how it is, right?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, it can be a little bit kind of like it's like fake security or fake confidence when like you have a yes man as an assistant coach because yeah, it makes like practice planning go really smoothly and scheming for games because yeah, he's just going to agree with you, but that's not going to be the best version of the team and you need somebody to kind of battle you a little bit and come back. And I think in that same breath, you need somebody that like is not going is going to be okay with a little bit of discourse. Like I just I don't know
Right.
a
Sure.
competitive or successful office where there's not a little bit of back and forth, right? But when we leave that office, we're on the same page and we're kind of rolling in the same direction, right? So, but no,
Right.
I want to be challenged. I think it's important.
Well, it also helps sharpen the tools, right? You got
That's
a
right.
yeah, a young guy comes in and from a different place that maybe you've heard of or you haven't heard of, or a different level of division, and they're like, "Hey, that drill we did yesterday, I like that. We did this where I played or where I just recently coached. How can we get those together? How do we get those to work together? Sharpens your coaching skills, brings new light to the office of like just brainstorming. And I feel
That's
like
right.
that's where a lot of the coaching connection in that staff comes from. Just grabbing a marker, going on the whiteboard, and just be like, you know, try to out drill me here or beat me on this drill. The OD guy kind of going at it, and then you're going to get the best product. And then it might be the best product till you get on the field and you go, yeah, man, that drill sucks. We got to scrap it. I feel like
That wasn't it. That wasn't it.
that happens a lot too. We got to be honest with ourselves. We're not all perfect,
No.
but there's been times where you just think this is going to be the drill, and we're going to do awesome. You go out 2 seconds in, the kids are looking like, what the heck are we doing? You're like, yeah, maybe we should we'll cut this one out of the book.
We'll go to
Yeah,
another
well,
one.
here at Haverford, that's usually that's a pretty quick process because if something's not working, they'll tell you right away.
Love it.
It's good.
Yeah,
Good.
like you said though, right? Like they have the courage to say it. Hey, listen, let's get better.
That's
And
right.
that's the
That's
goal,
right.
right? They want to get better.
Hey,
So
coach, that wasn't it
that
today.
wasn't it.
That
That
was the
wasn't
best
it.
stuff today.
Uh, so, coach, you've worked with assistants at every level too, right? You've been an assistant at all three levels and been a head coach there as well. So, what qualities always translate regardless of division? Like, what qualities of an assistant always translate? Like, it doesn't matter D1, two, or three. What qualities are always there? That's something that you look for.
Yeah, I'd say well, hard work, right? That's universal. Like
Sure.
you like yeah, that grinder word, right, is kind of
Yeah.
synonymous with being an assistant coach. Like you got to be
Absolutely.
willing to like live out of a suitcase for at least a month out of the
Yeah.
summer, sometimes longer. And you got to be willing to kind of like do some of the less glamorous things. Like you got to string the nets.
Yep.
You got to make sure that someplace you got to paint the field, but
Yeah.
you got
Right.
to laundry, all that stuff, man. But you've got to be willing to just kind of like grind it out and do the things that really, as a player, you don't really even see or even aware that your coach is doing. Um, and I think as if I can think of a second one, it would be having the ability to anticipate. Like I just think I always enjoy working with guys that have the ability to just kind of like already kind of know what's next. So like the head coach is not every 5 seconds having to say like, "Hey, I need this to be done," or we don't have to send out like weekly plans for exactly what needs to be done, what all the tasks that need to be accomplished. Like you're already ahead of the game. Like you know the job, you understand your job. There's a mastery there, and you can anticipate what your head coach is going to need next.
Love that.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot because I feel like sometimes uh it being assistants, I don't want to keep knocking on the door like, hey, is there what do you want me to do next? Like get just if there's the yearly thing that we have to do in the summer of, ordering the gear, getting the name plates for the locker rooms, like just do it. Just kind of go out
That's
there
right.
and do it. And I feel like once you can start to do that, then it just becomes such a well-oiled machine. If you have a few guys on staff, this guy's handling that guy's handling that. And then you can kind of like our job is to take stuff off of your plate, the head coach's plate, and uh, kind of make that process more smooth and be able to win lacrosse games along the way, right? So I think that's for me. That's something I'm going to vow to myself that I'm going to do better this year.
Wow.
Just get ahead of things.
Wow.
You heard it here first.
Wow. That's a season two first snippet right there. Look at that. You're going to get ahead of things. I
I'm
like
going to
that.
get ahead of things.
Proud of you.
Love it.
Proud of you.
Love it.
And
Proud
then,
of you.
and you guys can check in on Mike and see if I got ahead of
Oh,
him.
I'll ask him. I'll ask him. We're going to get on that. We'll ask him 100%. 100%.
So, Coach, when you're hiring and you're going through this whole thing and you're building the culture with your assistant and the rest of the staff and the players, um, is there anything that gets done or by your assistant or even going through the process now being a head coach that you're like, wow, assistants have like the role has changed? Like when you were an assistant X amount of years ago or a different place, like while there's more to do as an assistant, whether it be NCAA lifting some things that you can do, like I know with like the ops guys and stuff like that. Now there is none. Um, but like, is there any kind of thing you've seen about the role of an assistant coach that has changed throughout the years that you're kind of like, well, I didn't used to do that back in the day, but now I like it.
Yeah, I absolutely love that question because it's something I've been thinking about quite a bit. Like, I guess, my first assistant job was at Kenyon College, and literally the first day of work, head coach Brendan McWilliams like drops a giant binder on my desk. I mean, this thing it looked like something out of the Flintstones. It was humongous. Um, and he's like, "Yeah, those are your kids," and literally it's just a bunch of like profile pages, and we're flipping through like all these kids. So like you're cold calling these kids one by one, and right there on his profile page, you're jotting down your notes from the conversation.
Wow.
And as far as film goes, they sending in like these VHS tapes. So I've
Love
got
it.
like boxes full of VHS tapes that I'm going through to watch these guys play. But yeah, that's what it was like my first year of
Right.
college coaching.
Wow.
And that would have been back in what, 2004, 2005. So like a lot has changed since then for sure. So I don't think that the assistant's job now is any easier because I think that technology's made it so that there's actually more to do.
Mm.
Um, when I think about like some of the things that I really look for in an assistant in terms of, again, some of my shortcomings. We talked about the technology piece, but it's real in that like right now, like a dinosaur, I'm taking an AI class 'cause I have no idea what to do with any of that stuff. And so like I really need somebody that is not afraid of the technology, knows the best ways to utilize AI. And listen, I think there's a difference between using AI to like send out your recruit emails. Like I have no interest in that
Right. Right.
versus using AI to like take some of the video footage that you have from practices, from interviews with your players, and make that into some content. Like that to me,
Right.
I'm highly interested in that. So
Sure.
just having somebody that has the ability to have some of that technology that can, but that's stuff that wasn't, back in the day, like we never thought about any of that stuff. Like
Right.
it wasn't on our plate, right? So I
Right.
think the job is different for sure, but I wouldn't say any easier.
That's I didn't think of it in that aspect, but like you're right. I do feel like as assistants, like though the job is not easier, but though there's new tools, right? Whether it's the sports recruits page, and you can just
Yeah.
start scrolling and finding, or just you know uh, AI in your computer helping you hammer out emails or whatever it is. But now I feel like the expectation is like it's going to be faster, that you can do more of it. You can probably see quadruple amount of film as you would put in VHS tape, right? And now you can sift through 20 kids to the, you know, one VHS tape.
And for the listeners that don't know what a VHS tape is, it's a plastic thing that has film in there. You have to have a whole thing. It's a VCR. It's all, look it up, Google it. It's fine. Use AI and
Go, yeah, go
figure
ask
it
your
out.
parents. If you don't
But
know what it is, go ask your
but
parents.
that's what that is. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. But that just
No. I appreciate you because I'm paying myself by not explaining that. But like,
no. I got you, Coach. We're good.
that brought up nightmares of me at Kenyon College. I'm in football offices, and I
Yeah.
literally because they're the only ones who had like the double VHS tape deck, and
Right.
that's how we used to like make up like our scout film. Right, I'm in
Yep.
there like playing and pausing,
Record, play.
recording. Oh my god, what a
Oh,
nightmare!
Oh man,
I'm not gonna lie, that sounds horrible.
well, it's
That's
the same as like a DVD, right? I mean,
oh, and listen,
my highlight table.
I could burn a DVD or a CD and get
Oh,
a
sure.
playlist with the best of them. But if I had to try to
Yeah.
start, stop, cut the tape, or whatever,
Oh yeah.
no, that's Coach. God bless you. That's too much for me.
Yeah,
That's too much.
take your dinner. You're gonna be there all night. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bring it with you.
I was gonna say that you guys definitely had to have like a couch in there and just be like, listen, I'm not going home tonight. I got to make five videotapes.
Yeah, we got a game Saturday here to start today.
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
it's fun time though. Fun time for sure.
Coach, what's like the best advice you ever got that another coach has given you? You know,
Yeah.
like you said, we talked about it all, and it could be any coach, But I asked you the assistant question already, but like any other coaches give you other good advice along your way.
Yeah, to me, that's an easy question. Because like the first piece of advice I ever received as a coach, came from my first mentor and my high school head coach, Scott Neese, who was a Washington Lee grad, just an unbelievable guy, unbelievable teacher of the game, and he just kind of told me like you have to be yourself. And he's a very kind of like right down the line, straight up and down kind of guy.
Yep.
So we wasn't going to sugarcoat it with like, be genuine to yourself and all that. Well, it was just, hey, just you got to be yourself.
Be yourself.
Hard
Because
stop.
yeah, I
Stop.
think
Be yourself.
that's right, that's right. Because like, yeah, I think it's like as a young coach, he saw me really struggling with that. In that, like, I was a lot of times I was doing like my best impression of somebody else,
Mhm.
and I think the guys, the players see right through that,
Absolutely.
and a lot of times, like, I think I was almost like embarrassed to be myself because, like, you guys have seen me, I'm pretty embarrassing. It's a there's nothing, there's not a cool bone in my body. But I think like his words like almost made like my weird kind of like unique way almost into like a little bit of a superpower where like, yeah, now I don't care what people think about me on the sidelines. I'm gonna have fun whether you like it or not. I don't care if it's 7 a.m. or if it's 10 p.m. I'm gonna have a good time on that sideline, and hopefully the guys around me have a good time. Otherwise, it's just gonna be really weird for them.
Oh
But
no, you bring out
that's who I am.
the best.
Oh, I love it. Are you kidding?
You
No, this
bring
is
out the best. And for
don't
people that don't know, if you have the pleasure of being on the sideline with this man at a showcase or a tournament that we get to work something at, if you're not ready to perform and be on your A game, coach is going to make sure you're ready.
and I love it.
And he's going to bring out the juice. He's going to bring out the energy. You have no choice but to match it.
And let me just touch on that too. The superpower that you do have, coach, is definitely that you know everybody's name.
Yeah.
At any showcase we've ever done together, you always know
Every
that
kid's
entire kid's name that's on your team.
you know the roster as
it's-
fast as I've ever seen someone.
It's
I'm not-
impressive.
The roster's right there. That's an
No,
easy
I
one.
know.
No.
Listen. Hold on.
Either
hold
that
on,
or
hold
you
on.
can read really
Yeah.
fast and really well. You must take a Harry Potter book and crush it in an hour.
Because I'm looking at the same page. I'm on 105 hour, 105 hour. And then the play's already gone 10 minutes after that. Coach Carrington's right there. Bang. Hey, Johnny, this great job there. Keep it moving. That don't sell yourself short on superpowers because that's a good one.
You got a few good ones out there. Don't lie to
Oh, no.
yourself.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. But I think that the more you use the kids' names, the easier it is to like to
Without
have those-
question.
Yeah.
Without question. Without question.
What is your favorite part? Because I feel like we can go a little bit off script. What, like, you're an energetic guy, which everybody knows, and we've been joking about, but it's the truth. You're an energetic guy, but like, what is your favorite part when you go to these showcases that we can work or tournaments where you can get kind of like involved in a drill and teach or mentor a young man for a minute? What's like what keeps you going? How do you keep pressing and keep going, like in the dog days of summer? Like, we're almost at the end of recruiting, and I know that if there was a showcase tomorrow, you're showing these guys your stuff.
Yeah, to me, that's the easy part, right? Like I think like going up and like working with these guys, and being able to like to coach them and have a little bit of back and forth, like that's to me that's the best.
Right.
So like I don't need to be motivated for that. I think what I need to be motivated for is to like go bake on a sideline for 12 hours straight,
I'm with
right?
you on
Like
that. No doubt.
it's like, my evaluations, man. I think like when I'm watching these guys play and I'm evaluating in June and I'm all chipper, and then
Right.
like, end of July, I'm watching these same guys. I'm like, I don't are are they slowing down or am I getting a little bit like over this?
Yeah,
I'm
So
with you.
no,
What
I think going out and having the ability to like to coach and learn from other coaches and
right.
steal some drills here and there. Like that's the fun stuff. I don't that doesn't really take much to get going.
I couldn't agree more. I think like one of my favorite things is I know we all get crammed into the rooms when we're down there, but go to the IMLCA and if you're a college coach or you have the ability to go to that, like go because
absolutely.
it is so cool to one put like name to face of people that you've met or maybe you see on TV, whatever it is, but also like just hearing a snippet of their like their philosophy on whatever topic they're talking about that segment. And that there are people that kind of hold the cards close to their chest, and then and they don't want to, their magic. They don't want to put it out there, but like you can still get a drill and see different things. And to Coach's point, like that's the fun part of the job.
Absolutely.
That is the fun part of the job is like we were saying earlier, is writing on the whiteboard and making a fun drill, but like being down there with just hundreds of hundreds of guys that are in the profession with you, like that's really cool. And I'm glad you brought that up. Which also leads me to my next question, if I may. Um, you go out, you do a lot of recruiting. Like we see you everywhere and your showcases and you're promoting your institution, you're promoting yourself and your program. What are your expectations for your assistant coaches in the recruiting world? Are they just recruiting guys on their side of the ball? Are they shadowing you for the first couple tournaments to see this is the kind of guy that I like, this is a guy that I don't like, and you want them to recruit as like a junior you, or is it like, hey, go find talent and bring back what you can bring back, and then we'll sift through it. Kind of take me through a little bit about what your expectations are for your assistants in recruiting specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of come back to something I said earlier with clarity, right? And I think before you step foot off campus, like you have to establish what is our grading system. Like
Hmm.
what is a B plus attackman look like? What's a C plus goalie look like? And so once we've kind of like established and like when watched a few videos and done a few video evaluations, and we're kind of like we're aligned in terms of the way that we're grading these players and we're utilizing a lot of the same like vocabulary to
Hmm.
describe what we're seeing. Then I think we're in a position where I don't have to like go out and shadow my assistant coach. Like maybe like for the first event just to kind of get their feet wet. But like I'm
Right,
talking that might be for like a game or two. After that, like we got to go out and see as many people as we can see.
right.
So no, I don't want to hold my assistant's hand. I do see the value sometimes in sitting together and evaluating some guys at the same time. But like that's for like much later in the summer when we're really trying to like get some final confirmations on some guys
Hmm.
as opposed to kind of like the early part where we're just trying to lay eyes on as
Gathering.
many as we possibly can. And
Right.
I do think that there every program has some sort of brand, right? Whether you want it or not, like you have a brand. And I do think it's important to know that when I send my assistant coach out on the road, whether it be, for a tournament or a showcase, that their brand or what the way that they're carrying themselves is synonymous with what Haverford Lacrosse is. So I have no reservations whatsoever in sending Coach Kirst out on the road because I know that like he's gonna be a guy that's gonna be super personal with the players. He's gonna be high energy with people, and he's gonna work hard. So like that's a part of the brand that we want associated with our institution.
Right. And what about I imagine it's similar, and just in the grand scheme of it, like the day to day, like what do you want your assistants kind of doing throughout the day? Is it just kind of hammering the emails and double, triple check film, getting the scout and things like that, which is, I would say, like the basic, the minimum. But is there anything that you kind of
I think
look
I
for
lost you
other
again.
than
You
the, like you said
froze.
earlier, the get ahead of it,
Can
right?
you hear me?
Like what are some other expectations that you have for an assistant on staff?
Sorry, you froze during part of that question.
Oh, no. So what's like part of what are some other expectations you have for your assistant on staff? Um, other than like the day to day of like watching film and getting a scout ready, is there anything else like throughout it that somebody should expect when they come work for you?
Yeah, I actually kind of alluded to it earlier, but I appreciate the assistant coaches that want to really get to know the guys and help out with some of these individual meetings. But I meet with all of our first years once every 2 weeks individually, and I encourage our returners to meet with me at least once every 3 weeks individually. Sometimes I got to go like track those guys down, but I think it's important just to kind of have that face to face and we can talk about whatever. But I don't know how an assistant coach can best serve the head coach if they're not, making having some of those one-on-ones with players and really like forming those close relationships, right?
Mhm.
So I think that's something that maybe is not kind of like in the job qualifications that you would typically see, but I know it's something that goes a long way.
That's great. That got my questions answered. Answers questions.
Coach, so being on the sideline, having to hire an assistant this summer, are you ever evaluating other assistants? Like, and I mean that in like a way of like, you're at a showcase or you're on the sideline and you happen, you need to find an assistant coach for your program. Are you ever like looking on the down the sideline, all right, that guy's just sitting there chit chatting, or that guy hasn't taken one note, or he doesn't even have a book, or is it that guy's in every single drill? Wow, I love that guy's energy. Are you ever, I guess, flipping the script and recruiting an assistant coach when you need one, or like jotting it down in the back of your mind, like, hey, if I read a job, that guy might be looking. I'm going to reach out to him.
Yeah, so I'm gonna jump the gun here because like I told you, like I'm a fan of the podcast.
I
So
love it. I love it.
yeah, I've listened to a bunch of these. So like I'm gonna jump the gun and tell you like this was probably the biggest piece of advice that I would give to an
Yeah.
assistant coach. That
Okay.
like knowing that you're always being evaluated.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
it used to be, back in the day, like when we had more teaching camps and there were only like 5 tournaments that we would have to go to every year. Like you had a chance to like show your stuff in front of coaches, right? And really
Hmm.
be able to like show the drills and show your mastery of teaching we have a few far less of those opportunities to kind of like be able to do that. So
Sure.
coaches have got to be able to evaluate in other ways now, like and being on those sidelines and how you kind of carry yourself in recruiting, like we're watching that, right? And okay, is this guy a complete chatterbox? And I've seen him take like one note in the last 30 minutes. Probably not the guy for me. Um, can you still see me on my end? I think I'm frozen again over here.
Yes.
Yep, you're good.
We
Okay,
got you over here.
If you're
okay, sounds
frozen,
good.
just
Sorry
keep
about that.
going and it comes back.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. If a guy's a complete chatterbox on the sideline, yeah, they're probably not the guy for us. A guy who's showing up to events late or checking out early, probably not the guy for us. And again, like as coaches, like we're all seeing this, so I think
Right.
it's important to understand that no matter what you're doing, whether it be coaching or whether it be evaluating, we are always being evaluated.
Right. I love that.
Well, well, Coach, you've dropped some knowledge here. Um, we really appreciate you. I really appreciate you getting on here and being the first head coach that we've gone to chop it up with. I know you just kind of gave some advice, but any last pieces out there to a young coach getting into it and or anything like that, or you kind of want to leave with what you just said? But I definitely think we've uncovered some things here, and I think it's hopefully going to help some young assistants out there. But any
Absolutely.
final pieces of advice?
Yeah, but first of all, I want to thank you guys again. Like the first head coach, what that's a huge honor, and after all the technology like bugs, might be the last head coach. But really
No,
want to
no,
thank you
no.
guys.
No, we're good, coach. This is great.
But no, this has been really cool, and I think what you guys are doing, like, I think it's important work. Like, we talked about the IMLCA, convention, but, like, just being able to just share more information and more stories, really kind of helps guys prepare for that next job, and maybe they can avoid some of the pitfalls that some colleagues have had previously. So, this is an important podcast. I think this is really good work that you guys are doing, and I appreciate it, and I hope that more people will continue to come on here and share, because I think that the more that we can kind of just share experiences, the more prepared we're going to be for what's next.
Well, I
Coach,
appreciate
thank you
you.
very much. We really appreciate you coming on, and yeah, we'll see you soon down the road.
We will see you soon, and if we don't
Oh,
get to see you the
well,
rest of the
not too
summer,
soon. Not too soon. Please enjoy some August, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You're right. You're right.
you
No,
are
absolutely.
right. We'll see you at we'll see you at a fall recruiting tournament, Coach. But
Absolutely.
it's been a pleasure. Best of luck to you guys down there, and good luck to Cole. And season 2, episode 1. That was it.
Thank you very much.
Let's go. Thanks, fellas.